ก่อนเทก่อนครับตรงนี้ดินแข็งมากเป็นก้อนมันเริ่มเลยดินมันแข็ง
So we're here looking at some modifications on our weed surface. There's a front self-leveling linkage, which is just basically designed on a pivot system, which CTM have developed. And then we've got two hydraulic wheels at the front, and the idea is that you set it up to the height you want to surf, and then let the surfer then find its own position. And we've already been through this crop once, but you can see there's a smattering of oats all over this field, too many to rogue, and we've been through here once, and this is one of the oats that we surfed last time. And of course you can see the biggest bits of the plant have been chopped off, and they're going to be no more problem to us. But of course some of the smaller tillers now have just continued extending their stems, and we've still got that top of the ear to take off, and then that plant is really done with. So really they normally do need doing twice, because it's very difficult to get the oat as a whole plant the first time because the tillers are all at different stages. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how these new modifications are like, what they're like, and the tractor will be up here soon, and I'll show you a clip of it going past. So I've just come up to a part of the field where there's slightly more oats, and also just spotted this patch of thistles. So we'll just have a look to see how it deals with those. As I say, what you do is you get the hydraulic wheels and you set them to the height that you want to surf at, and because of the pivot system in the middle, it should be able to sort of act on the pivot system rather than just being a solid structure on the front of the tractor, which makes it very difficult to control on either sides of the surfer. We've tried other hydraulic wheels in the past, but that CTM have developed, but they've been very heavy, and these ones actually swivel on a caster system, so I think actually they're going to be a lot better. So just looking down the line where the surf has been here, you can see that it's doing very little damage to the top of the crop, which actually we have done more damage to the top of the crop in the past, taking off the tops of the ears, but then we've had a problem with disease getting in there, and especially things like bump. But you can see there's a nice line there where the surf has been, and dealt with the oats well there, as you can see. Just chopped the tops off those ones. The thistles, it has just chopped the flowering heads off there, so missed that one. Actually missed one or two there, lowest ones. I mean, they're going to be more difficult because they flower nearer to the top of the crop, but I would say that it's probably got 90% of the thistles there. But I think that looks great. I think that's going to be a real improvement, and given that's our first run with the surfer, with a bit more sort of fine tuning, I think that it could be really useful, or even more useful than it is at the moment. I'm just going to focus on this little patch of oats here to see how well it chops them and go through them, and see how many we think we've got. It certainly looks a lot more stable than it has. It's not sort of diving from one side of the crop as it has done in the past. It's a little bit lower on this side. So we go to this patch now, you can see that it's pretty much got all the oats. There's one there, which is a very small tiller that it hasn't managed to get, and there's one that's still emerging here, and so really that would be a field assessment at the in about a week's time to see if we need to go through this crop one more time. Just found one of the seed heads that is from the first time they went through with the surfer, which was just about 2 weeks ago now, 10 days, 2 weeks ago. And as you can see, the seeds there are hugely underdeveloped, and it would be extremely surprising if any of those seeds were viable. But the thing to do is to take the seeds out and send the samples off to NIAB and get them tested to see if they are viable. But you can see that they're shriveled, and really it'd be very surprising if any of those were viable. The secret is, which I've said in my videos before, is to go between a week to 10 days after the wild oat has flowered. In a dry year, a very hot dry year, that can be a week, but in a normal year you've usually got about 10 days. So that's the interval that we try and go at. But also one of the reasons why we have two surfers, because to get across the acres we need 2 8-metre surfers to do it in the time required.